A big, comfortable kitchen. Steep stairs, almost like a ladder, leading to upper room, top right. Huge fireplace, right. Some chairs, one heavy, with rubbered casters. Small settle and table. Chest of drawers, left, on top of which stands a gramophone. Door back, to left of window. To right of door, a dresser, on which it is, as well as a large clock of the alarm type. To right of dresser, a nail, hangs a whip. To the left of dresser hangs a mandolin. On table, a quantity of unwashed delft. To right of fireplace, a lumber room. The room, at night, is lighted by an electric bulb, hanging from center of ceiling. It is a fine early autumn evening, with the sun low in the heavens. On wall, back, large red card on which "Do It Now" is written in white letters. A sink near the window.
Dari, at door of room, he is shaving, and his chin is covered with lather. This shaving water's dead cold, woman. Die hear me? This shaving water's dead cold. Lizzie, busy about the room, quietly. Come down out of it, then. Dari, scornfully. Too much of it, I suppose. I'd all that has to be done these times over, and when all was finished, I'd be sighing for something to do. Lizzie, if you had half of what I have to do here, at the end of the evening you'd be picked up dead out of the debris. Dari, I would? Lizzie, I would. Dari, sure? Lizzie, certain. Dari, if I only had half to do. Lizzie, or less. Dari, if I'd picked up out of the debris? Lizzie, out of the middle of it. Dari, dead? Lizzie, as a mackerel. Dari, fiercely. I'm always challenging you to change places for a few hours, but you won't do it. I'll show you what a sinecure of a job you had here, while I'm sweating out in the fields. Lizzie, go out and finish the mowing of the meadow. It'll take you only half an hour or so, and there's plenty of light in the sky still. Dari, who has been chasing himself during this argument. The meadow I'll do to be done tomorrow. Why don't you let me do what's to be done in the house, and you go and mow the meadow? Why don't you do that? Don't you do that? You do that? Agony to look at, agony to listen to you, agony to be anywhere near you. Lizzie, I'd just like to see you doing what's to be done about the house, I'd just like to see you. Dari, is there to be done about the house, will you tell us if that? Lizzie, there's the lamb and the heifer and the hens to be fed and tended. There's ironing, cooking, washing, and sewing to be done. Dari, angrily. And only a butter back and front of me so that it's next thing to a miracle that my trousers are kept from starting the meadows talking. Lizzie, if you were more men, I'll go and mow the meadow, and leave you to see what you can make of the housework. Dari, angrily. Buzz off, then, and I'll show you how the work of a house is done. Done quietly, done with speed, and without a whisper of fuss in its doing. Buzz off, if you want it, and I'll show you, and all your gender how the work of a house is done. Lizzie, furiously. Put that on, in no time what's to be done about the house, while I go and mow the meadow. Get into it, and show the world and your poor wife the wonders you can do when you're under a woman's overall. Dari, a little frightened. Oh, it manage all right. Lizzie, and don't you let that Alice Lanigan in here while I'm away, either, do ye hear? Dari, in a temper? What Alice Lanigan? The Alice Lanigan, caught her chattering to yesterday, when you said she had been mowing the meadow. The Alice Lanigan, that's setting you on a nag about the little I have to do in the house. The Alice Lanigan, that's goading you into the idea that if you were a little slimmer round the belly, you'd be a chevalier, and getting you to deliver more and more effectively. The Alice Lanigan that's on the margin of things assembling over self-feeling as if she was a girl in a tennis, deliberately moulding her body posture like the Lady of Shalott, to captivate all round her, that's the Alice Lanigan I mean. Dari, I don't be thinking of Alice Lanigan. Lizzie, I've seen you, when you thought I slumbered and slept, giving gestures in front of the looking-glass, imaginatively expressing your appreciative thoughts for Alice Lanigan. Maybe you don't think she has a kid who has never had a pot on the head from a father. Dari, you buzz off now, and I'll show the work of house is done. Lizzie, while she is putting a broad-brimmed hat on her head, pulling a pair of old gloves over her hands, and taking down a whip hanging from a nail in the wall. I'm telling you it's a dangerous thing to associate with Alice Lanigan, even with a priest giving the introduction. The day'll come when you'll know she's making mechanical toys of you and that other old fool, Barry Darrell, who's no nearsighted that he can't see the sky, unless the moon's shining in it. Dari, cheerio, unless the moon's shining in it. Lizzie, at the door. I'm going now, and I'll see how the work of the house. Dari, hall. I farewell to you. And, mind ye, this is only the beginning of things. Lizzie, God grant that it won't be the end, and that when I come back, I'll at least find the four walls standing. She goes out. Dari strolls to the door, and watches her going down the road. Dari, scornfully to himself. Move the meadow. Well, let her get her fill out. As he shuts the door, the clock in the distant town hall strikes 8. Dari returns, glances at the clock on the dresser, notices that it has stopped, takes it up, puts his ear to it, shakes it, begins to wind it, finds it difficult to wind, puts added strength into the turning, and with a strong spiraling push, it comes from the inside of the clock. He hastily replaces the clock on the dresser. After a few seconds' thought, he takes it up again, removes the back, and part of a big broken spring darts out, which he hurriedly crams in again, and puts the clock back on the dresser. Dari, Lizzie again. He catches sight of the gramophone, looks at it, thinks for a second, goes over to the chest of drawers, takes some records from behind it, and fixes one on the disc of the gramophone. He takes off his waistcoat, loosening the braces, stands stiff, shakes his thighs, pats his belly, and tries to push it back a little. He starts the gramophone going, runs to the center of the room, and lies down on the broad of his back. The gramophone begins to give directions for physical exercises, to which Dari listens and, awkwardly and puffingly, tries to follow the movements detailed in the words spoken by the gramophone, when the music commences. Gramophone voice, in a very affected, almost effeminate, and very precise voice. Bend the right knee, draw in the waist, and towards the chest, commence. Dari is too slow, and the gramophone is too quick, for he can't keep up with the time of the music. When he finds that he is behind the time of the music, Dari increases his speed by partial performance of the movements, and so gets into touch with the time, but presently, blowing and panting, he is out of time again with a beat or two. He climbs stiffly onto his feet, goes over to gramophone and puts the indicator to slowed. Dari, too quick, altogether. He starts the gramophone going, runs to the center of the room, and again lies down on the broad of his back. When the music begins he goes through the movements as before, but the music is playing so slowly now that he finds it impossible to go slowly enough and keep to the time of the tune. When he finds himself in front of a beat, he stops and puffs and waits for the beat to catch up with him before he recommences. As he is going through these movements, the door opens, and Barry Darrell comes into the room. He has a mandolin under his arm, and is wearing wide-rimmed, thick-lensed spectacles. Barry, briskly. Come and greet me, what are you trying to do? Dari, can't you see what I'm trying to do? Take off your spectacles and get a closer look. Barry, keeping fit and flexible, that's what I'm trying to do. Dari, in a rhythm that's too slow, tense your muscles, you're not tuned into the movements properly, man. Dari, the indicator must have shifted. Slip over and put it to the point marked medium, and then get down here and give us a hand. Barry, what about the prologue of playing the song we're to sing at the town hall concert? Dari, getting down. I've done 5 minutes of this, first one, and both being the better for it, with the measure. Never done it to music, and I wouldn't be able to keep in touch with the measure. Dari, the music makes it easier, man. Keep your eye on me, and move when I move. Barry reluctantly takes off his coat and waistcoat, goes over to the gramophone, puts his nose against the instrument, and puts the indicator to fast. Dari, to do this thing properly you'd want to be wearing shorts. Right, now keep in touch with the rhythm when I'm everything. Start off and stretch yourself out. Barry, he starts the gramophone, runs over and lies down opposite to Dari, so that the soles of their feet are only a few inches apart. Gramophone, very rapidly. Lie on back, hands behind the head, feet together, are you ready? Bend the right knee, draw it into the waistline towards the chest, breathe out manfully. The tempo of the tune forces them to do the exercises in a frantic way, till it dawns on Dari, who is nearly exhausted, that there's something wrong. He stops while Barry goes on manfully. Dari, scornfully. There. Wait a minute, man. Don't you see anything wrong? Barry, stopping. No, what's wrong? Dari, testily. Or, what's wrong? You're congesting ourselves with speed, that's what's wrong. You must have jammed the indicator hard to fast. He gets up, goes to the gramophone, and puts it right. We're entertaining ourselves, and not trying to say the rosary. He comes back and stretches himself again on the floor. The music begins and the two men commence the exercises. After a few moments, Dari slows down a little, misses several beats and tries to blame Barry. Dari, excitedly keeping up the movements, but out of time, as he talks. Try to keep the proper rhythm up, man. He hums the tune of Coming Through the Ride. Dat-th-did that way, man. Dat-th-did. Keep your eye on me, dat-th-did. After a few moments Dari is out of time and breathless, he stops and sits up to complain, but he really wants to get a rest. Dari, with aggravated patience. Barry, you're spoiling the whole thing by getting out of time. Now let your arms and legs go limber, tense your muscles. 3 beats to the bar, see? Now. They start again. Dari is soon behind time, blowing and puffing out of him. Barry keeps to the beat of the tune splendidly. Dari, angrily. You're going too quick altogether, now, man. Barry, no, I'm not, I'm more to the tick every time. Dari, violently. They're to the tick, is it? If you're not in the line with me, then, if you're not to the tick, I don't know where you're in front of me or behind me. Are you too stiff or what? Barry, I'm there to the second every time, it's you that's missing a beat in the bar. Dari, indignantly, stopping to talk, while Barry goes on. I'm missing it because I'm trying to foster you into the right balance and rhythm of the movements. That's why I'm missing it. Loudly, I'm doing me best, aren't I? Barry, more sharply still. You best effort, though underway, but still falls short of what's required. It's pitiful and painful to be watching you, man. He stands up and looks at Barry, who keeps going. You do yourself an injury. Get up and we'll do the song. As Barry goes on. Oh, get up and we'll do the song. Barry, getting up reluctantly, and Dari goes over and stops the gramophone. Dari, I was doing it well enough if you'd let me alone. Barry, scornfully. Yes, like the Londonderry Air played in March time. They get their mandolins and stand side by side at the back. Dari, now let us walk in a semicircle down to the front, bow, you remember? Ready? Barry, go. Dari, go. They both step off to the right, take a few steps, and then they halt. Barry, testily. Something wrong, we don't go round the same way, do we? Dari, testily. Of course there's something wrong, of course we don't go round the same way. Can't you try to remember, Barry? You're going to the left, to the left. Barry, I remember distinctly I was to go to the right, Barry. Dari, irritably. Oh, such an egotist, Barry. Now think for a minute. A pause. Now make up your mind, do you want to go to the left or the right? Barry, testily. Oh, left, right, anyway. Dari, left, then. Go. They march round, one to the right, the other to the left, meet in the front, and bow. Dari, you start, Barry, my boy. Barry, singing. One summer eve a handsome man met a handsome maiden strolling. Dari, down where the bees were humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, said she, we'll sit down here a while, and selfish thoughts controlling. Dari, down where the bees are humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, said she, we'd meditate on things high and edifying. How all things live and have their day and end their day by dying. He murmured, life is trying. Dari, down where the bees were humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, the moon glanced down also on when they were sitting. Dari, down where the bees were humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, then moon murmured, I feel and fear a storm is brewing. Dari, down where the bees are humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, she talked so well of things so high, he started to appreciate her. Meanwhile, the moon crept behind a cloud and seemed to meditate on her. Dari, down where the bees were humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, white feathers and thin goody-goodies rush around excited. Dari, down where the bees are humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, proclaiming that the dignity of living has been blighted. Dari, down where the bees are humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Barry, but when the light is soft and dim, the modest moon is still behind the clouds. Young maidens, in their grace and modest way, still continue delightful conversation. Dari, when the song has ended, Barry cocks his ear and listens. Barry, shall we try it once more? Dari, shush, shut up, can't you? Dari goes over to the door, opens it, and listens intently. There is heard the rattling of a cart caused by the steady and regular movement of a moving machine. The distant town hall clock strikes 9. Dari, hastily putting the mandolin away. I forgot. I'll have to get going. Barry, getting up at what? Dari, housework. He begins to get into the overall left off by Lizzie. I dared her, and she left me to do the work of the house while she was mowing the meadow. If I don't do it when she comes back, then sweet bye to the status I had in the home. He finds it difficult to get the overall on. Dib dish, where's the back and where's the front, and which is the bottom and which is the top? Barry, take it quietly, Dari. Dari, resently. Take it quietly? And the time galloping by. I can't stand up on a chair and say to the sun, stand thou still there, over the meadow Mrs. is mowing, can I? Barry, Dari, I know too well you can't, but you're not going to expedite matters by rushing around in a hurry. Dari, he has struggled into the overall. Expedite matters. It doesn't seem to strike you that when you do things quickly, things are quickly done. Expedite matters. I suppose loitering to look at you lying on the broad of your back idling your legs about, was one way of expediting matters, and listening to you plucking curious sounds out of a mandolin, and singing a song, was another way of expediting matters. Barry, you pioneered me into doing all of them yourself. Dari, busy with the pot on the fire. I pioneered you into doing them. Barry Darryl, there's such a thing in the world as a libel. You came strutting in with a mandolin under your arm, didn't you? Barry, I did, but... Dari, and you, sang you song. Barry, yes, but... Dari, when you waltzed in, I was doing calisthenics, wasn't I? Barry, I know you were, but all the same. Dari, and you flung yourself down on the floor, and got yourself into a tangle trying to do them calisthenics too. Barry, hold on a second. Dari, now, I can't carry the conversation into a debate, for I have to get going. So, if you can't give a hand, go, and let me do the things that have to be done, in an orderly and quiet way. Barry, course I'll give a hand, only waiting to be asked. Dari, looking at the clock suddenly. Is the clock stopped? Barry, taking up clock and putting it close to his ear. There's no ticking, and it's hours slow. Dari, Lizzie again. Forgot to wind it. Give the key a few turns, Barry, and put the hands on to 9:30. Barry starts to wind the clock. Dari goes over to table, gets a basin of water, begins to Dari, washing the delft, priming to himself the air of the song, down where the bees are humming. Barry wins and wins again, but no sign of a tightening of the spring inside. He looks puzzled, wins again, and is about silently put the clock back where he found it, when Dari turns and looks at him questioningly. Dari, you've broken the clock, haven't you? Barry, I didn't touch it. Dari, didn't touch it? Am't I after looking at you twisting and tearing at it for nearly an hour? He comes over to Barry. Show me that clock. He takes the clock from Barry and opens the back, and the spring darts out. Didn't touch it. Oh, for God's sake be more careful when you're handling things in this house. Dib din, din, he punches the spring back, and slaps the clock down on the dresser. You must have the hands of a gorilla, man. Here, come over and wipe while I wash. A slight pause while the two of them work at the delft. Dari anxiously watches Barry, who, being very nearsighted, holds everything he wipes close up to his spectacles. Dari, suddenly. Look out, you're not leaving that jug on the table at all, you're depositing it in the air, man. Barry, peering down at the table. Am I? Don't be afraid, I won't let anything drop. Barry, humming the song. Dum da dee dum da dee da dee dum da dee da da dum. Dari, swinging his arm to the tune. Down where the bees are humming and the wild flowers gaily growing. Dari, fine swing, you know, dum da dee dum da dee dum da dee dum da dee da dum. Barry, swinging his arm. Down where the bees are humming. Barry, again sends the jug flying down on the floor. Dari, yelling. You snaky, and my candle, power, e-wide elephant, look at what you're after doing. Barry, heatedly. It's only a tiny jug, NNY, you can hardly see the pieces on the floor. Dari, just as heatedly. And if I let you do much more, you would soon be big enough to bury out. Sit down in the corner there, do nothing, say nothing, run, if I could, I'd put a safety curtain round you. For God's sake, touch nothing while I run out, give the ladder to the lamb. Dari dashes over to the fire, whips the pot off, and runs out. He leaves the door open, and when the rattling whir of a mowing machine can be heard. Barry sits dejectedly in a corner. After a few moments a bump is heard outside, followed by a yell from Dari, who, a second later, comes rushing madly in, a bloody handkerchief pressed to his nose. He Dari, flings himself flat on the floor on his back, elevating his nose as much as possible. Barry, get me out something out from the back of my neck, quick. Barry, frightened. What the hell did you do to yourself? Dari, I didn't bend low enough when I was going in, and I gave myself such a bang on my nose on the concrete. Get something cold, man, to shove down the back of my neck and stop the bleeding. Barry, keep the nose sticking up in the air as high as you can, don't rush where to get something cold to shove down the back of my neck. I knew this rushing round wouldn't expedite matters. Dari, with a moan of resentment as he hears expedite matters. Oh, pull yourself together, man, and remember we're in the middle of an emergency. Barry, a little bit of ice, now, would come in handy. Dari, a little block of ice. And, will you tell me, where you're going to get a little block of ice? Eh? Even if we had one, how would you get it down the back of my neck? Eh? Can't you answer, where are you going to get a block of ice? Dari, how the hell do I know where I'm going to get it? Barry, do I expect me to keep lying here till the winter comes? During this dialogue Barry is moving round the room aimlessly, peering into drawers, rattling the delft on the dresser with his nose as he looks along the shelves. Dari, as he hears the crockery rattling. Mind, or you'll break something. I must be losing a lot of blood, Barry, and I won't be able to keep my nose sticking up in the air much longer. Can't you find anything? Barry, I can see nothing. Dari, run upstairs and get the key of the big shed that's hanging on the wall, somewhere over the mantelpiece at the far end of the room. Go quick, man. Barry runs upstairs, goes into the room, comes out again, and looks down at Dari. Barry, up to him. Did you get it? Dari, where's the switch? It's as dark as pitch in there. Dari, with a moan of exasperation, sits up and immediately plunges down on his back again. Dari starts pumping out again the minute I sit up. To Barry, there's no switch in that room. We can't have a switch in every corner of the room just to suit you. You've only got to move down the center of the room till you come to the fireplace, then brush your hand over the mantelpiece, along the wall, till you feel the key hanging there. Barry goes back into the room. After a few seconds' silence, there is a crash of falling crockery. Dari, after a second of silent consternation, sits up with a jerk, but immediately plunges down on his back again. Dari, sinking supine on the floor. What have he done now? What has he done now? Shouting up to Barry, hey, you up there, what have you done now? Barry, sticking his head out of door above, nothing much, the washhand stand fell over. Dari, angrily. Nothing much. It sounded a hell of a lot then. You're the kind of man if you're not chained up, I'll pull everything in the house asunder. Come down, and stop down, or that delicate little hand of yours, smash everything in the house. Barry, my eyes are used to the darkness now, I can see. I'll get the key for you. He goes back into the room, leaving Dari speechless. After a few seconds, he comes out of the room in a sweat of fright and anger, one hand tightly clasped over the other. He rushes down the stairs, and begins to pull the things out of the chest of drawers, every other moment leaning over to clasp one hand over the other. Barry, frantically. Get your own key, get your valuable key. Half slaughtering myself for your sake. Why don't you keep your razor blades in a safe place, and not leave them scattered about in heaps all over the mantelpiece? Where is there a bit of old rag till I bind up my wounds? Get your own key yourself, I tell you. Dari, am't I nicely handicapped, wanting help and having only the help of a half-blind man? Barry, know I nearly after wounding my fingers off with your blasted razor blades? Coming down to Dari, with a handkerchief in his hand, and showing the injured fingers to him, look at them, one looks as if only a thin thread of flesh was keeping it on. How am I going to play the mandolin now? Dari, you'd play it better if all your fingers were off. Barry, Dari has bounded off the floor, and holding out the handkerchief to Dari with the other. Here, get a grip of this till me to bind up my wounds. Barry kneels down beside the prostrate Dari, who takes the handkerchief and proceeds to tie it round Barry's wounded fingers. Dari, keeping his nose well up in the air. You give that an unexpected honor, you can call that a wound. Barry ties the handkerchief round Barry's hand, who stands looking at it. Dari, reflectively. Won't be able to do much for you with it now. Dari, it'll limit your capacity for Breakin things. A pause. Dari, slip out, Barry, old son, and see if the heifer's safe on the bank beside the house. Barry goes outside the door and stands looking up towards the top of the house. The light has been fading, and it is getting dark. Again, can be heard the whir of the mowing machine, and the town hall clock strikes 10. Barry, I think I can hear her cropping the grass all right, but it doesn't seem wise to leave her there in the dusk falling. Dari, testily. I can't do anything till this bleeding stops, can I? Barry, the spuds are all scattered about here where you let them fall when you were running in. Dari, moaning. Can't you get the broom and sweep them up into a corner, and not be trampling them into the ground? You see the state I'm in. Barry gets the broom and starts to sweep outside the door. Dari, into Dari. How's it now? Barry, cautiously sitting up. It's nearly stopped now. But I'll have to go cautious. Barry, sweeping with a band, manages to bring the broom handle into contact with the window, and breaks a pane. A silent pause. Barry, as if he didn't know. What's that? What's that? Dari, in an agony of anger. What's that? What's that? Can't you see, man, that you're after thrusting the handle of the broom through the window? Barry, peering down at the hole in the window. That's curious now, for I never felt the handle touch in the window, but there's a hole in it, right enough. Dari, with angry mockery. No, you wouldn't feel it touch in it, either. A hole in it, of course there's a hole in it. My God almighty, I've a destroying neighbor in the house. Barry, well, not much use of looking at it now. Dari, vehemently. Oh, come in, man. Didn't you hear the clock striking 10? I'll have to go now. He gets up gingerly, feeling his nose, and still keeping it at a high angle. Dari, introducing another subject. Hadn't you better stable the heifer before you do anything? Dari, violently. Haven't I to clean out the cowhouse first before I stable her, man? With your exercising, and your sinjin, and your great inability of expediting matters, I haven't made a bit of headway. I hadn't a chance to give her the grass she needs, so let her get all she can on the bank at the back of the house. Barry, supposing she wanders to the edge of the bank and tumbles off? Dari, I don't know what to do about her. Barry, couldn't I go to her for something? Dari, angrily. There's nothing to tie her to, man. Dari, what about putting a rope down the chimney and tying it to something in the room? Dari, after a few seconds thought. That's a good idea, Barry. There's a rope outside, and I'll sling one end round her neck, let the other end down the chimney, and tie it to a chair. Dari rushes out. After a few moments his voice is heard faintly from above calling, "Hello, hello." Barry, who has had a little up the chimney, the smoke making him cough, answers. Righto, let her come. The rope comes down, Barry catches the end and pulls it into the room. Dari returns, and they tie the rope to a chair. Barry, with chair moving across the room. Now you're beginning to use your brain at last, Barry, me boy. She'll be tied up to the far end of the rope. Now we can get going and get everything shipshape before the missus toddles back. Let's out the light and see what she's doing. He snaps down the switch, but no light comes into the bulb. Dari, annoyed. Dibdith, mustn't be meeting again. He hurries into the lumber room, stepping over the rope. Barry, speaking to Dari, I wouldn't do too much tampering with that. Dari, inside room, emphatically. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Barry rushes out again, snaps down the switch, but no light comes. Dari, irritably. Must be the blasted bulb. He rushes to drawer. There's a bulb here, somewhere, we've had a long time, and never used. He takes one from the drawer. Here we are. He pulls a chair to the center of the room, stands on it, takes off the old bulb, and gives it to Barry. See if you can see anything wrong with it. Barry, holding it to his nose. Can't see anything. Dari, leave it down, leave it down. Barry, sure, the one you're fixing's the right voltage? Dari, stopping to look at Barry. Course it's the right voltage. Why wouldn't it be the right voltage? Dari, if it wasn't, it might fuse. Barry, fuse? No fear of it fusing. Dari, with the chair to which the rope is tied, begins to move across the floor. Dari, startled. Look out, the heifer's moving. Barry, catch hold of it, before she disappears up the chimney. Barry catches the chair, but the strain is too much, and he is pulled along. Dari jumps down off the chair, leaves the bulb on the table, catches hold of the rope, and helps Barry to tug Dari, the chair, back to the far end of the room. Dari, you sit on the chair, and then she can't move without our knowledge. Barry sits on the chair. Dari mounts the chair again, and starts to fix the bulb. The chair begins to move with Barry sitting on it. Barry, excitedly. Quick, again, get down, the heifer's moving. Dari jumps down again, and the two of them pull the chair back to its place. Dari, in a menacing tone. Don't you done, don't make. He gets up again and fixes the bulb, there is a flash, and the room is darker than ever. Dari, like a magnanimous person. I warned you, Dari, I saw it coming. Barry, forcibly. What are you blathering about? We're no worse off than we were before we fixed it. There's a drum of oil in the lumber room, and there's any left in it we can light the lamps. You light the one hanging on the wall, while I see how we stand. He runs into the lumber room. Barry takes the lamp from the wall, removes the chimney, and tries to light the wick, but he can't. He then holds the match anywhere but near the wick. Dari comes out of cellar. Dari, jubilantly. Plenty of oil in it. Or, you're not holding the match within a mile of the wick. Show it to me, show it to me. He takes the match from Barry, and lights the lamp. Dari, out with you now, and get one of the old lamps you'll find on one of the shelves to the right in the shed at the back of the yard. Barry, how'll I see? Dari, strike a match and look. You'll see them staring at you. I'll take a canful of oil from the drum in the shed at the back of the yard. Barry, going out by door. I know I won't be able to see. Barry, with a can that has a long snout on it, runs back into the lumber room. Barry has left the door open, and the rattling whir of the mowing machine can be heard again. There is a slight pause. Suddenly Dari rushes out of the lumber room over to the open door. Dari, shouting madly. Barry, come here quick, man. I turned the key of the tap too much, and it slipped out of my hand into a heap of rubbish. I can't take it off the cock, and I can't find the key in the dark. Come quick, man, or there won't be a drop of oil left in the drum. He rushes wildly back into the lumber room. Another slight pause. He rushes out again, with the drum in his arms, his thumb pressed to the tap outlet, and runs over to the door. Dari, calling madly. "Hey, Barry, do you hear me calling you, man? I won't be able to keep this oil any longer. Have you fallen asleep, or what?" There is heard outside a rattle, followed by a crash of falling pots, tins, and tools, then a dead silence for a moment. Dari, staggering against the wall. Oh God, what's he after doing now? Dari, outside, in a loud voice of great distress. Dari, oh, Dari, I'm after nearly destroying myself. Where's the doorway? I can't see. Dari, going over and standing in the doorway. Here, man, no, to the left. As Barry staggers in, dusty and frightened, what ruin are you after causing now? Barry, moaningly. I've after getting an awful shock. Dari, impatiently. Pull yourself together, for God's sake, man, and tell us what's happened. Barry, as he sinks down on a chair. The blasted lamps were on top of the top shelf, there was nothing to stand on. I had to climb up on the shelves, and climbing up, the shelves and all that was on them came down on top of me. Dari goes over and rests the drum in the sink, his hand still pressed over the outlet of the tap. Dari, and why did you climb the shelves? What did you want to do that for? Couldn't you see, you sap, that they weren't fixed well in the wall? Why did you insist on climbing the shelves? Barry, I was just trying to expedite matters. Dari, with a wall. Trying to expedite matters. Oh, there'll be a nice panorama of ruin in front of Lizzie when she comes back. Barry, and me spectacles were sent flying when the shelves fell. Dari, and why didn't you grab them before they fell to the ground? Barry, holily. How could I grab them and they falling, when I was falling too? Dari, impatiently. Well, get the lamp then, and look for the lost key in the lumber room. Barry, and maybe I'll never get me house on fire. Dari, woefully. Oh, am't I in a nice predicament? The chair, the heifer's moving. The chair to which the rope is tied begins to move across the floor. Barry catches it, tugs manfully, but he is carried on towards the fireplace. Dari, anxiously. Give us a hand, or I'll be up the chimney. Barry, leaving the drum, runs over to Barry's side, grips the rope in front of Barry, and, to get a safer hold, takes the rope off the chair and puts it round him under his arms. With great pulling, they get the rope a little back. The oil flows from the drum into the sink unnoticed. Dari, panting. Keep a strain, or we'll be up the chimney. Barry, how am I going to get home tonight without me spectacles? Dari, loudly. Keep a strain on her, man, keep a strain on her. We have to get this straightened out first before we can brood over your spectacles. Barry, suddenly noticing the drum. The oil. He lets go of the rope and runs over to the oil drum. Dari disappears up the chimney. Barry, lifting the drum and shaking it. Not a drop left in it, not a single drop. What are we going to do? He turns and sees that Dari has disappeared. Lizzie, speaking outside in a voice of horror. The heifer. Dari, calling out. Lizzie. Lizzie rushes in as Dari falls down the chimney. He crawls up from the fireplace on his hands and knees, and halts there, exhausted and sooty. Lizzie, horrified. Oh, God. What has happened? Dari, to Lizzie. Now you see the result of having your own way. Why the hell didn't you hold onto the rope when you took off the heifer, so that I wouldn't come down with a bump? Lizzie, how'd I know you were hagging on the other end? Dari, indignantly. You didn't know, my God, woman, can you do nothing right? Please like and subscribe for more videos.